Okay, tell Indra ke gera. I have to shout like this, right? I hope. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, welcome everybody. This. My apologies. Full. I can hardly speak. So this session is going to be in English. I hope that's okay, right, for everybody. And if you have, I want to make it interactive. I wanted to make it like, I don't want it to be a monologue. I would love to hear from you. Oops. Yeah, okay. I would love to hear from you as well, what you think, what your journey is, right? Because money, I think money is something which is like fundamental, I would say, to everybody, and whether we like it or not, whether we hate it, whether we like it, we all have to deal with it, right? So today, because I wasn't sure who am I really speaking to, what is my target audience, I wanted to make it in such a way that would connect with all of you, because we have such youngsters here, and we have some experienced people here as well. So, but what I'm going to talk about today is going to be relevant to all walks of life, right? Because this is something which is fundamental. And as you all know, foundation, if you're building anything, the foundation has to be strong, right? And you have to have the right knowledge and the thoughts behind it. Amazing. Okay, before we move forward, people here, I want to hear from you. Do you feel money is hard? Who feels money is hard? To understand money is hard. Do you feel like that? Let's be honest. Understanding finance is hard? No? I mean, the topic of money in general. Let's say the topic of money, like to understand money. No, I mean understanding money, what to do with money, and all of those things. The reason why I'm asking is that I've seen a lot of people who struggle with money. They don't know what to do with money. They're not very confident or comfortable when it comes to money. They get some money, but they don't know what to do, how to spend, how to save, and all of that, right? So the reason also is like I tell people, the money is hard because nobody teaches us this, right? We go to school, we get up in the morning, go to school, work hard, study hard, blah, blah, get a job, earn some money. That's all. That's it, full stop. Dine, we don't know. After this, we don't know what else we need to do, right? What do we do next? So that's why I feel like there's a lot of knowledge gap behind it. It's not a capability gap. Some people are broke. They earn a lot of money, but they're broke. Why does that happen? It's not because they're incompetent. It's because they don't have the right knowledge. So that's what I want to share with you all today. Money is more than numbers. I wish you guys were not so far from me, but this is something to think about. Money is more. What does that even mean? Money is more than numbers. Lot of things in our life is driven by emotions, right? We are all driven by emotions, and money is also driven by emotions. I'll give an example. For example, you started working somewhere. You're promoted, right? You got a raise, you got a salary hike. And then what happens? You go for party, yes, party, treat, spend money, give it to your friends, blah, 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 right? You spend money, right? Or let's say a negative situation happens, somebody in your family is sick, and you immediately need money, right? Then you have to spend money again. Money by itself has no value. It has value when you attach to it, right? So it's very important to understand what is the thought process behind the money. What are the emotions that are behind the money? How do you think about money? How do you look at money? Right? Very less people talk about these concepts. I want to talk about these concepts is because they are the driving force of what happens to you and your financial journey, right? So emotions drive decisions. Second point I want to talk about is income doesn't equal habits, right? How many people, it always happens when you have a bigger paycheck. What happens? What do you do when you get a bigger paycheck? Anybody? Huh? Yeah.
Spend more.
Yeah. In what? Maybe get a better car. Maybe buy more fancier clothes, right? So your habits becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So a lot of times when you're high earners. So many times what happens when you earn more money, you tend to spend more money, right? So your behavior matters. What are you doing with your money? That matters. So money equals mindset, what you think about money, right? And what you do with your money, your behavior, your actions. And what is your first step is awareness. Awareness to understand what really you're doing with it, right? What is your mindset and what is your behavior? So that's your money mindset. Okay, so just for the newcomers, what did we speak about? Anybody wants to repeat?
Money is more than just numbers
Okay. Why?
because it's driven by emotions and behavior as well.
Yes. And what can you do to control it?
So, like,
Awareness.
Awareness.
Awareness. First step is your awareness, right? So thank you for that. Can we clap for him, please? Yeah, he's listening. Yay. The universal money framework. Okay, this is what I believe. Everybody has 4 buckets when we categorize money. The first bucket is your earnings, right? So you earn through business, or you earn through your job, or you earn through your passive income, whatever, your earnings, right? That's your first bucket. The second bucket is the way you spend. How do you spend? What is spending? Your daily expenses. It could be rent, your food, basic needs, and lifestyle choices, right? You're going out, you're traveling, you're shopping, and things like that. That's your spend bucket. Then is your saving bucket, right? So saving bucket is how much you actually save it and put it in your bank or whatever deposit. And then we have an investment bucket. Agreed, everybody? These are your general 4 buckets. Everybody falls in this bucket, right? What happens generally, let's say, hear me out and tell me if you relate to this or not. You get your salary on 1st of every month, right? First bucket, earning bucket. After the first thing, what you tend to do? Oh, I need to pay my rent. I need to buy food. I need to do all of yes. And then what happens? Oh, a new designer bag has come. Oh, a new fashion, new t-shirt has come in the market. Oh, new watch, cool watch. And then you start buying all of these things. And end of the month, what is left? Maybe a little bit of money here and there, or maybe you're broke. You never know, right? And then when it comes to saving, then you don't have anything left. So if you don't have saving, then you don't have investment, obviously, right? So that's where majority of people are lying. Okay. Be honest, anybody in that zone so far? Raise of hands. Yeah. No, I love the honesty. Please, let's be honest. Awareness, honesty is everything. Because I was in that zone for the longest time, trust me, right? Now, what do smart people do? Smart people make money, same amount of money. It's not like they earn a lot of money, same amount of money. But first thing that they do is they take care of their daily expenses, because that's something you can't avoid, right? If you have to pay rent, you have to pay rent. You can't be like, oh, I won't pay rent, right? You have to pay rent, right? If you have a family, if you have kids going to school, you have to give the school fee. So you have to take care of that. But what exceptionally that they do is they make sure that certain amount of money is always kept aside into the savings and investments, right? And then whatever is left out of that will go into your desires of traveling, of eating out, or whatever you want to. So that is what the smart people do. So smart financial people do. It's very simple. It's nothing but a mindset thing, right? So you earn first, you take care of your daily essentials, you make sure that you have a certain percentage that you allocate, and then you go ahead and spend in whatever is what you want to spend. Like splurge if you want to get that designer bag, if you have to, right? Any questions so far? Agreed? Makes sense? Now the common question is, how much money do we allocate to all of this, right? Like what is the framework? There should be some simple frameworks, right? So this session is going to be all about simplicity and simple frameworks, right? So usually, if you see our buckets, 50 to 60% should ideally go onto your needs, like your renting or whatever, utilities and stuff like that. Out of that, 20 savings and investment should be at least 20 to 30%. So this can be a flexible framework. It doesn't mean that, oh, I have to do this. Sometimes we are lucky, and sometimes if you have lesser needs, like, maybe you're living with your parents, or you have your own house, you don't have to pay rent, right? So if your needs are lesser, you can always allocate more to your savings. So that can be always a proportion, right? So you have to look where do you stand today? And I'm going to take you a little further. Why should we save? Before we talk about savings, I want to know, why should we save? What is the purpose behind it? Anybody? Emergency, very nice. What else? Why else do you need saving?
Near future, we have already set some goals, and maybe for example, if I want to go for a vacation,
Yeah.
for that, like sometimes we short term also we need, like sometimes we
Yeah.
used to save them.
Yeah. So if you say all the answers will boil down to two things. One is security, right? Safety and security. You want to secure your child's fee, you want emergency, medical, anything issues. So security is important. And second is freedom. So your money has to work for you. And that's how you will be like, oh, let me go on a vacation. Let me, buy something nice. I don't have to go to 9 to 5 office every day. I can work when I want to. When I don't want to, I will not work. That's a choice. So you get a freedom of time as well, right? Your freedom of money and freedom of time. So security and freedom. These are two things why savings are very essential. The reason why I am talking about this is because I know there are so many, especially the young people nowadays, the Gen Zs of this and the Gen Alphas that are coming up. They're like, oh, YOLO mindset. What is YOLO mindset? Tell me.
You only live once.
I'm sure the older ones won't know here.
You need twice.
He has 7 lifetimes, he's saying. So YOLO mindset, you only live once, right? What after COVID, this has happened even more, right? Like, oh my God, people are dying. Like, why to even save? Let's just spend everything, right? So that YOLO mindset is great. Nothing wrong with it, honestly. But we also have to balance it out, right? So this is why saving is important. Now, what kind of savings? I will talk about it. But just for highlights, emergency fund. I cannot emphasize how important this is, especially for the younger people, right? Investment doesn't mean that you just put money and things. Why do we need emergency fund? Anybody? What is emergency fund and why do we need it? Any? Don't look at the screen. Look at me.
Life is uncertain.
Okay, and what kind of uncertainty? Give me an example.
If you get sick, then you have to use
Yeah. Okay.
something like Corona happens.
Huh?
Something like Corona happens, then
Corona.
virus.
Okay. COVID, you mean? Okay. So what exactly? So that is a state of emergency, right? A lot of times what happens is people put all their money into long-term mutual funds or investments that are for a long-term basis and they have to break it. So emergency fund, so emergency fund is your savings account. It is not your investment. Emergency fund is something which you need. Let's say you're in a job, you lose your job for 3-4 months and you have to still feed your family, right? Or feed yourself. You need a backup plan. You can't be like, let me break my mutual funds and then take out money, right? That's the worst thing you can do. And I'll explain more at work. So emergency fund is very important. And then also understanding goals. Short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals, understanding those are very, very important. Because otherwise, what happens is you don't know what you're saving for. You don't know what you're investing for. And you don't even know how much money you need for investing. So that clarity is missing, right? So it's important to have those goals in place. And I will take you further on that as well, but just for your information. And now let's talk about investing, right? This is where you would build your real wealth, investing. Your saving is not going to build your wealth. Why? Have you heard of this term called inflation? What is inflation? Tell me.
Rising price.
Rising in prices. What is the current inflation in our country today? Huh?
Are you talking about the rate? Or
Yeah, rate, percentage.
Percentage is, I guess, around 6. Maybe around 6.
6% average, year on year. 6% average year on year. How much fixed deposit and interest do you get?
65.
So technically you're only earning 0.5% and that's it. Because your inflation is something that is eating away your savings and investments, right? Lot of people put their savings into their banks, right? Bank account, savings account. How much interest you get on savings account? Anybody? 2.5. It is getting worse and worse. There used to be a time when they used to give you 4%, 5%. Now it's like 2.5. It's ridiculous, right? So that means you're actually now what? Losing money. 6% inflation, 2.5% saving interest. You're actually losing how much percent? You do the math, right? So you're losing money. So inflation is something you have to, so any investment you do, you have to beat the inflation. That is mandatory. I talk about inflation. I want to talk about compound returns. Do you understand what is compound interest? We studied in school, back in school, simple interest, compound interest. Anybody? He's nodding. Yes. What's your name?
Kunga.
Kungala. Okay, go ahead.
Basically, it's you're getting yearly interest or quarterly interest or whatever.
Okay.
And you're getting interest on top of your interest, so it compounds. It keeps on compounding, and then in long term it grows like exponentially.
Oh, can we clap for him? This smart guy. What is your investing journey? I want to know right now. Where are you standing today?
I'm not investing currently.
Anything you're doing?
No.
No? But you're not investing at this point. Okay, perfect. All right. So as Kungala rightly said, that's what compound. How many of you understood it? No? Nobody understood? Should I repeat what compound interest really means? Okay. I'll give you an example. When you do fixed deposit gives you simple interest. Okay? Simple interest simply means that when you invest, let's say 100 rupees, right? And you get, let's say, a 10% return on it. Okay? So your next end of the year, you will get 110 rupees, right? 110 rupees. Now here, that's first year. Now second year, your 100 rupees principal is getting invested again and you are again getting 10 rupees. So every year you will get 10 rupees, 10 rupees, 10 rupees. So 110, then 120, then 130, then 140. That's your simple interest. That it grows like that. Compounding works on a different manner. So what happens in compounding is on the year one, let's say 10% of compounding, you invest 100 rupees, you get 10 rupees as interest. That's your year one. But on the second year, instead of just 100 rupees, it will invest 110 rupees. So your principal and your interest get combined. And your 110 rupees gets invested, and then on top of that you get 10%. First, in few initial years, you will not find any difference. But eventually you will see the difference. So, and I have an example that I want to show you, the power of compounding. Einstein, everybody knows Einstein? He said this is the 8th wonder of the world, the power of compounding, because it is so powerful, right? I've given you a simple example. Let's say if you don't, even if you're not investing too much, let's say just simple example of 10,000 a month, okay? Just SIP 10,000 of the month. An average mutual fund will give you about 10 to 11%. That's a very average on a very long-term scale, right? Funds go up and down, the market goes up and down, but 10 to 11% is an average. Now you see, in 5 years' time, what happens? How much money have you invested? 6 lakhs, right? On a 10% value, 10% returns, what is the value you're getting back? 7,74,000, etc., right? Wealth gain is how much? 1,74,000, etc. Not too much. In 5 years, okay, not bad, right? What happens in 10 years? In 10 years, you put in only 12 lakhs, but your gain comes to how much? Your value comes to 20 lakhs. From 7.5 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Do you see the jump in 5 years that happens? What happens in 15 years? And I'm looking at 10%, right? Only the 10% line. If you look at 11, it'll higher. If you look at 12, it'll be higher. So your returns can be higher also. This is just I'm trying to be conservative at this point. What happens when it's 15 years? You only put 18 lakhs, but look at the value, compounding value. It's 41 lakhs. You see the jump? And finally, look at 20 years. If you stay invested in 20 years, now that requires a lot of patience and commitment. It's not that easy. On numbers, it looks easy, but it's not. 20 years, you put in how much? 24 lakhs only. But your value has now jumped up to 75 plus lakhs. The incremental jump that happens, that is called the power of compounding. Now, very important thing to note here. A lot of people come and say, oh, I don't earn much, my salary is so small. I will invest when I reach like, let's say, 50,000 or 1 lakh rupees or something like that, like that. That is the biggest mistake you can do. Because compounding the power of compounding is not the amount of money. The power of compounding is a time that you invest in. So the time to invest is yesterday. But if you haven't done yesterday, it's today. The next best time is today, right? So you can see that this is what you have to understand, how the mechanics of wealth creation really is. Is this easy? Not really. But is it simple? Yes. It is simple to understand, right? So think about it. Common mistakes. Okay, everybody does. Everything that I've listed here, trust me, I have done it. Okay, I am the biggest example here, and I've learned through my own mistakes, right? Common mistake is what I told you about lifestyle inflation. The bigger your paycheck, the bigger your lifestyle, the bigger your car becomes, bigger your, I will only wear the H&Ms and the Zaras and the brands, you know, everybody goes into brands. So lifestyle inflation. You have to be very mindful about the wants, the desires, right? That's where the real check needs to come. You can't do anything about the wants really, but your desires, yes. Savings, what's left, I already spoke about it, that you earn and then you end up spending, and then you don't know, you're like, oh, end of the month, oh shit, now I can't save anything because I don't have anything left, right? So that is the mistake. Savings, what is left. No emergency fund, right? This is a huge mistake because again, some people are running from paycheck to paycheck. There's a big example, I don't know if you saw on social media. I don't know if you saw this on social media. Recently, there is a news huge on social media, and he had been giving EMI for 8 long years. And then one fine day, what happened is he lost his job. He lost his job and he couldn't pay his EMIs on time. So as per the bank rules, mortgage rules, you skip EMIs for 3 months, you default for 3 months, the bank has a right to take your house. So the bank took his house and sold it in an auction for 95 lakhs. So 1.2 crores of house was sold in 95 lakhs. And all his 8 years of EMI is gone into the dust. Purely because what he did not have was the emergency fund. And this emergency fund can be different for different people. If you're younger, you can have 3 to 6 months of your expenses. But if you're older and if you have family to run, I have kept my emergency fund for 2 years. Nothing less than that. Like calculate your expenses and then save it for keep it for 2 years. Because I don't know what's going to hit you. Another COVID can come. Oh, I hope not, I pray not. But another COVID can come, right? So that's the worst thing. So emergency fund is very, very important. Waiting too long to start investing. Kungala is one of our good examples here. Delaying it and losing the power of time and compounding. And using credit as extra income. Any credit card holders? Yeah, only one person. 2, okay. You haven't started investing, but you started credit cards. That's interesting.
Just to build my credit score.
Okay, perfect. Credit cards are one of our it can be a very powerful weapon, but it can be an absolute disaster if you don't. Because I know some cases that I've come across that people use credit cards and they think it's an extra cash that they've got. Credit card is not an extra cash. It's a debt that you have to pay back, right? And credit card has the highest amount of interest that you have to pay. If you default, what is the interest rate? Anybody knows? Take a guess.
12%.
Higher. It's 15 to 16%. Month on month. This is the highest debt you can get. This is the worst debt you can ever have. So never have a credit card debt. If you're not sure of your finances, never get a credit card. But if you are somebody who can be smart about it, credit card is your best thing you can have. So it's like a double-edged sword. It can kill you and it can help you also. So I had an example of a credit card, but I wanted to say something I forgot. Okay, never mind. When it comes, it comes. Any questions so far? Does it make sense? Is it okay? It's still interesting? Yeah? Okay. Is it opening eyes? Realization? Any realizations coming up? Okay, awesome. All right. So, action plan. So, it's such a simple thing. 4 things you can do. Number 1, you can track your expenses, right? Start tracking your expenses. And I'll tell you how to do that as well. It's very simple. It's because that's where the first step is awareness. Second is check your emergency fund. Do you have any emergency fund? If you have, is it enough or not? Number 3, you've got to automate all your investments. Whatever investment you start, you have to automate, and I'll talk about it more. And then start writing goals. It could be short-term goal, which is like you want something within a year. It could be medium term, which is 3 to 5 years, and it could be 10 years, like a long-term goal, right? Tracking, it's a very simple process. You can just, you don't have to do it every single day. You don't have to be like, oh, let me get up and do it every single, no. Do it weekly. You can open your app wherever you spend, or you look at your credit card details and things like that, and just see where are you spending, right? With no judgment and no emotion. Money is an emotion game, right? Remember. So what happens is, oh my God, I'm spending so much. I'm such a bad person. Oh my God, last week I promised myself I will not spend. I spend it again. You know, don't be hard on yourself. Just be aware, right? So understand what you're spending on, and understand, is there any unnecessary expense that we're doing? Because sometimes it happens, right? So understanding that. So again, awareness is the key, right? 15 minutes a week, simple habits create awareness. Emergency funds and short-term goals, right? You can either choose to have your money in your savings account. You can either choose to do, like, say, the traditional methods, like the recurring deposit, or you can do, or a fixed deposit, or you could do like liquid funds. The three major options that you have, right? Now, why do I specifically say this? Because all these 3 or 4 options that I mentioned here, these are something that are easy to break for any kind of emergencies. Savings account easy, you can just withdraw money. Recurring also you can break. Fixed deposit also you can break. And liquid fund is also easy. Anybody knows what liquid fund is? Liquid fund? Anybody? No? New term? Okay. Liquid fund is part of the ecosystem. Like, we have equity, mutual funds, equity, shares, stock, and then we have another instrument called debt instrument, right? So liquid fund actually falls into the debt instrument. Now, these debt instruments are also investments, and they have like a certain percentage return, like 6% return. So they're similar to a fixed deposit. The good thing about this liquid fund is you can just break it anytime. You can withdraw, just like you can withdraw equity, you can withdraw this fund as well. So that is another thing. They all have taxes, by the way. Whatever you withdraw, you all have to pay tax. Remember this. So for your emergency funds and short-term goals, these are the 3 instruments that you should put your money in, right? And the good thing also, what you don't see is what you don't spend. The auto-save strategy. I said we should all automate our investments or your savings. So if you are earning, let's say first day of your salary it comes, second day of the month, just do an auto thing. Whether it goes into your mutual funds, whether it's going to recurring deposit, whatever you choose eventually, just make an auto. 2 things. One is it will help you control your temptation. You know, you don't have the money, so you can't spend it any which ways, right? So it controls your temptation. Secondly, we're all busy individuals. Who has the time to be like, oh, okay, this month I have to put, it's like another work. So this is an automated task. You don't have to think about it. Just let it flow, right? And I've also mentioned something like start realistic, okay? People who have not started yet and are starting again, it's important to be realistic, all right? I've seen some people like, oh, they get all into about like, yes, my salary is only, let's say, 20,000, but I will now start investing 10,000 out of excitement. That's not realistic. Why? Because you won't be able to sustain it. You might do it 1 month, you might do it 2 months. The beauty of investment is you can even start with 1,000, 2,000. Compounding works everywhere. Again, it's not about the money amount, it is about it starts with T. Time. It's about the time. I feel like I should keep asking questions, like, ugh, this lose out, right? So it's about the time. So time is more essential. Consistency is more essential. Patience is more essential, right? So be realistic. And then you can increase over the time, right? Your salary is going to get higher. Hopefully your business is going to get better. So if you have extra money, then just keep accordingly, hype it up. There's something called step-up SIPs. Have you heard of that? Step-up SIPs? Like you can have those things as well. So it's just like if you're doing 10,000, you can do a 10% step up. So next time it'll be like 11,000, right? Then you can do 10%. So you can do step-up SIPs as well. Now, if you're looking at a long-term perspective and investment, right? We have to invest. Now this is, I want to quote this Hindi dialogue. पैसे से पैसा बनता है. किसने सुना है? Who has heard of this dialogue? नहीं? He's lost. Like, I don't care. This is a very powerful dialogue. पैसे से पैसा बनता है, right? This is, you can make your money work for you. You don't have to keep working for your money. The day you learn this game, that's when you can retire. So, long-term games when it comes to about, there are a couple of things you can do. You can do mutual funds, right? Nowadays, there's so many. A good thing about our era today is we have everything in an app now. Yeah, in the comfort of our phone. Earlier, we had to open DMAT account, we had to go to the bank, we had to go to XYZ, do all the documentation. Now, nothing. Now, everything is online. So, you have no excuse not to start, right? So, mutual funds, you have ET Money, you have Grow, you have Zerodha. There's so many new companies that are coming. We have vested, whether you want to invest in India, you want to invest abroad, US, or wherever. Everything is possible now, right? So, mutual fund SIP is the easiest thing that you can do. If you are a beginner, right, I would always encourage you to do index funds. Have you heard of index funds? You must say you do mutual funds.
I just put it in mutual fund and I don't care.
But which mutual fund are you doing?
I just go with whatever the bank
The bank people?
yeah.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do.
Some of my friends.
Good you highlighted that, because let me explain what's happening right now. You're doing through your friends, you're saying?
Sorry.
Your friends.
Yeah. The friends, whatever they put the money, I just
But where are they putting money? In banks?
yeah.
In mutual fund by banks?
Yes.
We heard of Nifty 50. We keep market, oh, Nifty 50 is up, Nifty 50 down. We keep tracking these Nifty 50s, right? What is it? Nifty 50 simply means a collection of 50 companies, the top 50 companies in India, right? So all the top 50 companies in India, you're investing in that. If you put your money in that Nifty 50, means your money is getting allocated in those 50 companies, right? Nifty 50 is a kind of the most safest mutual fund. The reason being because it's basically you are putting money in the economy, Indian economy. And Indian economy is not going to go bankrupt. Hopefully not, right? Very, 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 very less chances, right? It over a period of time, it is only getting better and better and better, right? So you're basically putting money in economy. So that's, for a beginner, index fund is the best thing you can do. And later on, you can diversify. So there's so many diversifications. There are large caps, there are mid caps, there are small caps, there are flexi funds. There's so many different, ELS fund, a lot of different things, right? So that comes secondary, but index fund is something you read about it, okay? Write it down, read about it, talk to ChatGPT if you want to, right? And understand what it is all about before you invest. And then, of course, if somebody, I don't think this crowd is going to be in that bucket, but if somebody who is not comfortable with market, they're like, oh, it goes up, it goes down. Like my father, he gets panic attacks when the market goes down, right? So, the older generation. The younger generations are okay, I know. But there are many government schemes as well, which you should take up, which is your PPF, Public Provident Fund, right? And NPS, which is a National Pension Scheme. So this is good for retirement. National Pension Scheme is a retirement fund. This is by the Indian government. And PPF is by the Indian government. And they both give you compounding interest returns. So sometimes what happens is it's important when you get deeper into investment, it is important to diversify. So it's like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's like that. So don't put everything in mutual fund or in your stocks. Don't put everything in fixed deposit. Spread it out a little bit here and there, right? So I have personally put my money in everywhere. So PPF, NPS, everywhere. Like I have planned that way, like that. What are the things you shouldn't do? Don't follow random social media tips. Now, it's funny because in my era, when I started the investing journey, I wish I had started before. For me, it's been like 10 years now. When I started my investing journey, that time we didn't have the social media, the influencers, the finfluencers, I don't know, whatever they're called, right? We didn't have that, right? So I went and I used to attend seminars. I used to go out seminars and learn about investment in that. So we had these hardcore non-social media events, right? So now because of these influences are coming, now what is happening is there is information overload. A lot of people are saying a lot of things, right? And what happens is it creates a lot of panic. Then someone is saying, oh, invest in this. Somebody says, invest in this. Somebody says, don't invest in this. There's so much of confusion, right? So important thing is to study. You have to educate yourself. And trust me, it is not a rocket science. It is not your Pythagoras theorem or your calculus that you have to do. It's very, very simple. It is very, very simple. So you have to. So do not go into this. If some influencer is saying, oh, invest in Tata Motors and put the money in that. That's what majority of people do. Oh, invest in some company. No. Worst thing you can do. Again, coming from experience, because I have done it. I have done it and I've lost money. Lot of people out of excitement, oh, market is down, we should invest. Oh, this is a new scheme, we should invest. Whatever fund you have, you just put a tuck in that. That's the worst thing it is. Do not touch your emergency and your short-term funds, because you don't know when emergency will hit you. A lot of times I've seen this happening. And then the thing about investment is, there is no fixed income, right? There's no fixed return. It's not like 10% every month. It's not a fixed deposit. So there will be times when you get 10%. There will be time when you get minus 5%. It'll keep going up and down. It's like this. It's a roller coaster, right? So imagine if you put all your money into investment, into mutual fund and stocks and shares and everything, and you have an emergency that hit you, and you look at your portfolio, and so you were saying that, right? You look at your portfolio like, oh, you've lost money. Imagine if you have to withdraw that money. What is the point? What's the point of investing if you're withdrawing money in loss? Then that's not an investment, you're losing money, right? So do not invest money which you think you might need it right now. That's a lot of people do it with crypto as well. Crypto, Bitcoin, everybody wants to now jump the race. Crazy. Don't keep switching products. When you start, I don't know how many of you, I don't think anybody here might be doing here, but switching products. A lot of people put somewhere money, then they find something more interesting, and then they take out this money and put it there. And they take out money again and put it there. Oh, this one is giving more returns, or let me put it there. Oh, this one is giving more returns, let me put it there. Or my friend is putting it, let me put it there. That's the worst thing you can do. You are not just making bad decisions, you are also losing the power of compounding. You have got to stick to what you have started. That is the fundamental core. If nothing you can understand, take this value out of this, right? You have to stick to it. Otherwise, you lose your compounding. And the last, don't wait for the perfect time. So this is just like I said, it could be a 90-day, it could be 90-day, it could be 30-day. It depends on what your speed level is, how much interest you have, right? The first month is building awareness. I spoke about, just to recap everything, building awareness, understanding where you are spending. Because a lot of times, especially if you have a lesser income, you will struggle to save more because you're like, oh, I have to spend this, I have to spend that. No, be smart about it. Be wise about it, right? So understand, so track your spendings. Then you automate. Then you start, when you start something, let's say you start Nifty 50, 10,000 rupees. Let's say, for example, automate that. And don't even try to be like, do anything about it. Just automate it, right? And then, whether it's Nifty 50 or whether it's fixed deposit or recurring, whatever, automate it, right? And the investment, start the investment journey ASAP. Whether it's 500 rupees also, that's okay. Doesn't matter. You can always increase the level. The idea is to start now. You need to have what? Track expenses, have goals, short term, medium, long term. Your short term should go where? Into instruments where you can easily withdraw money, whether it is your liquid fund or fixed deposit or recurring deposit, easily where you can put out money. Your medium and your long term should go into your larger investment. It could be mutual funds, it could be anything. Anybody wants to know about crypto? Anybody is doing crypto investing here? I haven't included here right now. Nobody doing crypto? You saying yes or no? He is investing crypto. I read body languages. Yeah. Yes? Let's see, I told you. Which one? Bitcoin or something else? Solana. That's also falling. So everything is falling, right? So why did I even ask? So crypto is your long-term investment. Okay. Do not make it short-term. Don't try to trade it. Don't anything. So a lot of people get into trading. Like you said, stocks. Stocks it could be a trading, it could be an investment. But you have to be very careful. Till the time you don't understand stocks, you're not able to read the company financials. Till the time you're not able to understand what PE ratio, PB ratio, the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis, I would advise people, please don't get into stocks. It makes zero sense. Because you will never know when to enter, you will never know when to exit. Because you don't know how to read only. It's like reading a Kaka textbook when you can't read Hindi. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, this picture looks nice. What's the point? So, but mutual fund, yes. Discipline, SIP mutual fund. The beauty about mutual fund is because mutual fund works in such a way that every month when you're investing, the market is going like this, right? So sometimes when you put, the market might be high, sometimes when you put, market might be low, then again high, then low, then high. So on a long term, it all averages out. It's called the averaging system, right? That's why it's a long term process. If you want to do mutual fund investing for 1 year, 2 year, don't even think about it. You will more lose money than make money. The blind spots of a non-beginner, because I have gone through that too. And I continuously go through that. The problem is when I started my investing journey, I started with Nifty 50, right? And then I got so excited and I said, I want to do more, right? Then I took a large cap, then I took a mid cap, then I took a small cap, then I took ELSS fund because it's a tax saving fund. So I took 2 different ELSS fund, which I came to know later how stupid that was. And then I had so many portfolios, then I didn't know what I was doing with these portfolios. And I didn't know what it was for. It had no purpose, it had no goals. So now I'm trying to consolidate everything into one now. So slowly and slowly, because too many funds, unless you are a trader and that's what you do all day long, go ahead and do it, right? But none of us are here. We are looking for investments. We are not looking for quick money. Yes? Investment is a discipline. If anybody is looking for quick money, this is not the place for you, right? So too many funds without any clear goals, tracking returns on relevance. I already told you about, this fund gave 16% return, let's go there. This is the thing about the market. The history that you see in the market, that doesn't mean that your future will be the same. Just because you got 15% in 5 years doesn't mean the next 5 years are going to same. The market works purely on emotions. Iran war, US-Iran war has happened. What has happened to the market right now? Fallen, right? Then all of a sudden, let's say the Indian government comes with a new tax plan. We are going to waive off this tax. People excited, yay. Market goes up, people start pumping money. So the market is completely driven on human emotions. It's on excitement and on panic. If the market is panicking, people will start doing what? Withdraw money, take out money. And the market will fall. And the market is excited, the positive bull. This is called a bull and a bear market, right? Bull market is a high market. So it's in the high market, then they'll be like, let's put money. My friend has put money, let's put money. Then the market will go up. It's purely human psychology, emotions that you have to control, right? Now, what happens is when the market falls down, people start to panic and they start to withdraw. That is the worst thing you can do. Right now, the market right now is the time to invest. This is the time to put money. Your mindset should be like buying a gold. Okay? Let's say you're buying a gold. If a gold is costing 10,000 rupees today, and tomorrow the gold is 8,000 rupees, will you buy gold or sell gold? What will you do? Will you buy gold or sell gold? You buy? Buy, sell. Everybody buy, sell. You sell? Buy. Buy. Everybody is buy. Anybody sell? No. Why?
Market price is down, so that's why we buy it.
Yes. Because we all have a hope that the gold will rise again. Right? That is the same mindset you have to keep with the markets as well. That it will rise again. It can happen next day. It can happen in 6 months. It can happen 1 year. We don't know. But with that hope, it has to rise again. And it does. It always does. Unless the economy is completely finishing. Unless the US bombards India and the India economy is gone. That's a different story, right? But very less chances that's going to happen, right? So you have to keep that perspective. If the market is low, celebrate, put money, right? And if the market is high, worry when it's going to crash. I'm just kidding. Don't worry. Just chill. Just chill. End of the day, just chill, right? That's the game of because end of the day, in the long term, everything works out.
But invest chevale, but to invest so do chevale susu gingu karikil sajodi. Misu tundish mashima devaina, and the mishabach sadu busta. Kale you susu patient dish in Kibudes. Tangage this lady manchagi, the desikala, chidu, manchagi long term invest la, chiagi the valley of Paris. I mean, say that to months at that. Nanga people like this year, Logados. And Punjula is Yellow, Yapa, the Yellow, that get the movement to down to part over in Nero. 일리시 나중에 인베스트먼트 해서 테스트 시키고 저 가실래나 그냥 프로퍼티 요거레스 나도 배바로 오시나 간다스 dia kalero tadi ser investis ser investis ni robot sigis dar ser hongcha ser minus ngalai usu jar nyo ne to ser tolanga sunyo chain sur sabas churun chain tolanga ten investment course are dia chiro da suzeng sonam pego chiro onde ta ngatuki kalo mandula factor mango jo asanye shebare kale kemi shebares ko kama suna rangi kimzegi shingala chulu do chaglo des lejero le do netan chivesha stade
This like I think investment is more about like your behavior and your mindset. So what Mr. say is like we need to depend. We don't have any like proper goal. Because we are just living in the present. And shaped by the other experience, whether it's a bad or good. So we are not sure about, we don't see the clear way, right? I think I'm just saying, I'm not talking about current experience the investment some people some chick nara samsung na
이게 나와서 배가 나오고 당연히 지슈디 거 망차 미세 요마와 망차 가서 나온다 미세 메디다 그거 접수 세ven 얘기로게 디지털 망차 인베스트 제라 그거 이게 맞다 안주디 제베나 앞에서 망차이 가로 괜찮 살았다 사가라 인베스트나 사 공파버 버레스 라인이 요마레스 다 당연히 런지 셋라이어 좀 차로 살라요 맞다 살 인베스트 제올라 아주 별로 해줄 거고 디지털 만도 제비디다 만도 같이 거래 인베스트사 망차 셀도가 된데가 인베스트 거고 디지털 만도라 퓨처 이 플랜 한국 수수의 퓨처 플랜 쪽좀디 스테이블 요마레 파마기야 지나는다 마음 배우 선들에 만주 조수로 다 파면 이제 그런 별안 들어서 딱 만주 로로 해야 다 지지게래 군수 이제다 미도 가한테 총사로 넥스트 만주 샤 안주 제랑 안주 다 마음 배우 선들라서 다 별 로유 라와이나 약셔와 다 말아비나 양 안주 넥스트 제너레이션 다 트랜스 도지사 나 스토라 그래도 딱 먼저 로어다 렌이 마땅해 땅에 치디 아니 보다를 보기 딱 지금 아주 쭉서셔 봐 대주 시선들라 삼나야나 조금 우리 봐 디기 먼저 딱지 저 락바탕님 맞으나 내가 직 팩터식 얘기 통도 그거 너무 망쳐 디치빈이 제다 인베스트 제발라 제미교 딱 아주 겨가네 딱 아주 직 통해 있는 지도 주요에는 제발 라스나 아주 로로레스 아주 간데스 지긴 봐 안주 들어왔다 라그레 섬니자 안주 밤에 라그레 섬니 안주 걸 이유를 안주 라그레 섬 도스다 아무도 조사로 안 제일 안주 조도가 도스 식당에 마찬 안주 현초부 인베스트먼트 숙충부 집 마토에기 그런데 직 팩터 굉장히 비통
opportunity 그렇게 미세스 모르겠어 이 상황하고 어떤 이제 real estate 배야 계산치고 그러니까 real estate 샤트 그냥 인차기 약간 이슈 인차 답다 있는 그런 데는 뭐 믿어서 봐야 그 사이드 갱스터가 근데 지금 여러 사이드 저 그런 토야 좀 해도 보면 비망보다 내 신앙 싸워지게 보다 내가 인트레스트 만데
Everything that I spoke about today, including even real estate, you always have a choice to sell it, right? Even let's say we get the good news of getting back Tibet, right? We can if we want to go there, we can always sell everything. You can sell your mutual funds, you can sell your fixed deposit, you can even sell your real estate. So why is that a problem to even invest on something which is not in your control? So this is again a mindset thing. Focusing on something you can control versus focusing on something you cannot control. A lot of these conversations are about focusing what you cannot control. Maybe this can happen, maybe that can happen, maybe US can put bomb in India, anything can happen. You don't know, So why are we even thinking about that? At this point of time, what is in your control? You can understand, you can learn the market, you can learn investment, At least acquire knowledge. Don't be like, oh, my friend said buy gold, so I buy gold. I buy this, I buy this. Why? Who's stopping you from learning? Nobody. And this has got nothing to do with Tibet freedom. This is your own. So you have to take responsibility and accountability for your own actions. Stop thinking about वो क्या बोल रहा है, वो कैसे कर रहा है. This is a problem that I'm noticing right now. And I'm sorry, I mean, I'll be honest and blunt. Reason being because I want the better of all of you, right? So focus on something you can control. Tomorrow we can, forget about Tibet freedom. Who knows that I might walk out and die and have a heart attack? We don't know. But do we live every day like that? Oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. No. We live because we live, right? We're looking forward. We have something to look forward. We're making plans. So think about that. When Tibet will get freedom, we'll see then. What is it? Or if you're going to Chige, a lot of Gyawa people go to Chige. That doesn't mean they sell everything, go. They manage everything. Everything is manageable. You just have to figure it out. And not be in that fear. Oh, fear. Khari hongi re, khari hongi re, khari hongi re. That's what we need to change. That again, it's a mindset game. And coming back to your point, in this presentation, I only spoke about mutual funds and investment because that's the easiest thing to do. But yes, you should also diversify. You can diversify into real estate if you have the money. You can diversify into gold. These are all important. I have done everything. I have everywhere my money. Because like I said, I don't believe in keeping all my eggs in one basket. If you can't buy real estate, like a big real estate, nowadays in India, there's a new concept called fractional ownership. How many of you heard this? Have you heard? Write it down. Google it later. ChatGPT later. Fractional ownership. You can now buy properties at 1/10 of the price or 1/12 of the price. There's so many companies like that. I have invested in a holiday home. These Airbnb rentals. So that property, I've only put 1/10 of the money of that rental. I've with multiple partners. That property, it's in Goa. That is used as Airbnb in Goa. So it makes money for me. And I get rent also at the same time. It's under fractional ownership. There's so many different things. You just have to be aware and you have to learn and not be afraid of it. Gold, I invest in gold. I have physical gold. But thing about physical gold, let me tell you. When either you buy gold in the truest form, which is that which you get from the bank, the biscuit, yes, that's the word, the biscuit, right? And keep it the way it is. The worst thing you can do with that gold is use and make it a jewelry. Because that's again not an investment. Why? Because when you dissolve it, you lose certain part of gold. The jeweler is going to ask you for more money to make a design out of this. So all these things, maybe in 20 years, yes, that can be an investment because gold money has increased, but it's not really an investment. The real investment is the gold biscuit. Or if you want to do it electronically, you have the gold bees. You can invest in gold online, digital gold. I have money in digital gold as well, which is going up right now, right? Oh, I was talking about this topic of insurance. We got diverted from that. Yes, insurance. Insurance, not having health insurance at this point of time is the biggest mistake you can do. When you go to what happens is when we are sick, we don't want to go to AIIMS hospital, right? AIIMS hospital doesn't even have bed. They don't have enough doctors and the facilities is not so great. You will always go to a private hospital, right? And private hospitals are way more expensive today. And if you don't have insurance, I have seen a lot of families becoming bankrupt. I'll tell you my personal story. The reason 10 years ago why I got interested in personal finance is because in front of my own eyes, I knew somebody. This person lost his own mother because he could not afford her treatment. I saw her die in front of my eyes just because he didn't have insurance and he didn't have any savings or investment. And that was the day when I decided nobody should die like that. And it was a simple treatable disease. Just because she had to go through a surgery and the surgeries were so expensive. She could have been alive. That was my learning point. That was my turning point of learning personal finance. In India, majority of middle class is one step away from bankruptcy, one medical bill away from bankruptcy. One medical bill. My Amla, She's a cancer patient. I'm telling it publicly now. She's been fighting cancer for a very long time now, 4.5 years. The kind of money for surgery, for medicines, for ongoing chemotherapy, for 10,000 different types of tests you have to do, it's gone into crores. Crores. And if you don't have the insurance, you won't be able to save the person and you will be bankrupt. Both will happen. So not having health insurance is a crime today. So if you don't have another misconception, I'm so young, I'm only 25, what can happen to me? Anything can happen to you. You don't know. And where will you find the money? Through social media? Ted Kunjo, calling Ted Kunjo? Yeah? I mean, why? When something is in your control, do it. Right? Why do ask someone when you can do it yourself? So health insurance is a must, whether you're 25 years old or 50 years old or whatever. Your insurance cover, 5 and 10 lakh is nothing. My insurance cover is 1.5 lakh crores insurance cover that I've taken for myself. This is something, it's like, jao, pani mein dal do bas. Because I don't want that worry that something will happen and I will not have the money. I don't want that fear, that stress. So your insurance should be anything upwards of 50 lakhs, easily, if you want to be treated in a good hospital. That's what is happening today. Our country, unfortunately, does not have good medical system. Public medical system is not good. You have to go to a private. So health insurance is absolutely must. Even if you don't have life insurance, you should have health insurance. And tomorrow, if you have a family, you should get either life insurance or term insurance. Anything happens to your wife, your kids, whoever, they should be protected. These are all part of financial planning. Do not take it lightly. Intense? Am I scolding too much? Any questions? I am done. That's all I have, I think. Thank you for listening. That's my last slide. I'm done. That's all I have. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.